be in that situation until anything, changes on that note. But, that's kind of where we're at right now.
And have you had the opportunity to meet with Steps?
I have,
Speak
yes.
to him about it?
Yes.
Hi, Sean. Going back to Sunday, without Cooper, it looked like you were able to find some creative ways to get some of these younger receivers with you two open, with trips, bunches. Is there anything formation-wise that stood out to you after you watched the film that you thought worked pretty well?
I think the guys did a great job executing. I thought Matthew's leadership, command, and then the guys made their plays, and I was really happy for them. And that's a credit to the work that they put in. And best part about football is they enjoyed that. And now what an unbelievable challenge that we have moving forward against arguably, one of the best teams in the league. And a lot of people would say it is the best team in the league. And they've got great players, great coaches, great scheme. They're checking all the boxes in a lot of ways. And so I think our guys are excited about the challenge. But I was really pleased with that group as a whole for sure. We did. We ran more than maybe you guys had been accustomed to. Whether that ends up being the way that we approach it this week is, there's always a way that we want to be able to try to figure out what's the best way to approach week in and week out and what fits our players. There were some things that, we didn't do nearly as well as we would have liked. And I think you give credits to Seattle for, some of the different things that they did to disrupt the integrity of what we were trying to get done. There were some instances where it was positive, but it was good to be able to get off, that many runs. But I think our overall efficiency, particularly on the early downs, has to be a lot better if we expect to be the caliber of offense that we want to be. I'll get you after this.
After when I got on Sunday, what does it do for the spirit of the team? How much lifted are you guys? And then coming into this week, do you feel like the young guys are kind of will buy in a little bit more?
Yeah, it's a good question, Timmy. I think they've bought in. These guys have been incredible. I mean, the energy of this team, the leadership from the guys that have been here, and then the way that these guys have worked, it's been outstanding. It's why that we felt, as good as we did going into that game. But until you actually go play football, everything else really is irrelevant. And so I think it was great for guys to be able to look at it and see some positive things. And, man, there's always going to be things that we can clean up, and we have to continue to improve. But we want to be able to just have a growth mindset where, hey, let's continue to put the work in every single day. When things don't go our way, let's understand the work ends up being the solution. Let's continue to optimize our ability to play at our best, figure out, the way that we can continue to connect and be complementary as a team with the way that we want to be able to play. But it was great. That was an outstanding opportunity for us to be able to go on the road in a hostile environment and be able to come away with, the result that we wanted. And it surely was a team win, and I was really happy for those guys, and they did their thing. And now it's on to the 49ers, and we're starting that preparation. We just finished up our first walkthrough, and the guys have a good look in their eyes, and they know what kind of challenge this is. Right.
So what are you looking for in games specifically in terms of that learning curve, absorbing and applying a lot of that information?
I think really you just said it. It's being able to absorb and apply the information that we're gaining. I did think there were some instances throughout the game where the guys were able to solve some problems, Jordan, with some of the things that they presented, that anytime you go into a season, there are going to be inevitably some unscouted looks. Even if we are familiar with them, they had some continuity. They did some different things that maybe we hadn't seen. They had some different personnel that we hadn't seen. And so I was pleased with some of the adjustments. I think there was a lot of elements that led to it, and it certainly wasn't one person. There was a lot of different things, whether it was some of the spots that we put our guys in or some of the different things that maybe they weren't executing with their fundamentals or techniques. And then sometimes you got to be able to give Seattle credit for what they did. So it's a combination of all of that. What I liked was there was an intent to be able to get it figured out. There was great collaboration and communication throughout the course of the game. And I thought that led to some good things as the game unfolded and evolved. And I thought that was really reflected with the way that guys understood what we were trying to do going into the second half. Ultimately, they brought it to life, and that's going to continue to be a thing that is always going to be ongoing. Once you get a little bit further into the season, you have a better idea of what to expect. But coaches and players do too good of a job, and they mix it up on a weekly basis. And it's where you want to have sound rules and then be able to see the game in real time and make some of those adjustments.
So how do you balance install and actually do it for the first time with evolve?
Yeah. I think it's something that you really are just continuing to monitor. All right, what does it look like in terms of how we're handling it? Where are those maximum thresholds where we can be able to have an identity but not be a jack of all trades, master of none? And I think we're in the midst of figuring that out right now. And I think I'll have a better answer for you as we continue to navigate through this year.
Sean, that defense for San Francisco is one of the top 5 sacks. If I could get in your mind, knowing that team as well as you do you try to evolve even more because you guys know each other so well, you know Kyle so well?
I think you got to be able to go execute. I mean, these are great players. It's a great scheme. They've got, a new coordinator in Steve Wilkes, but there's still a lot of continuity, and you saw a lot of similar things that have made them the best, especially on that side of the ball. And man, did they look really good in both of the other phases as well. So it was a complete team performance that they put together. I wasn't surprised at all. We know, how special they are, and it's going to be a great challenge. And I think, we're continuing to figure out, all right, how do we put together a great week of preparation? And then ultimately, how do we, give our guys a chance to go play to the best of their ability and go shoot their shot on Sunday? And it's going to be fun.
It would seem outsider looking in that this game, as much as anything, ball control, like you did last week, would be incredibly important. Did you game plan that way?
I think you always want to be able to control the ball, control time of possession, but I think it's about being able to play good football, snap in and snap out within the different situations that arise as you navigate through a game. Whether that's first, second, third down, whether that's the end of the half, 2 minute, whether that's 4 minute at the end of the game. And so those are always going to be key and critical things. The turnovers, everybody wants to talk about that. That stuff shows up and it really comes to life. And so your margin for error is so slim against an excellent team like this. And so our guys know that, but I still want them to be able to cut it loose and go play and never play afraid to fail.
What did you think of the way that Coleman directed traffic up front, especially with the rookie on one side and Joe making his first start back?
He was great. He's so conscientious. What I think is one of the coolest things that I've witnessed is watching the rapport, the relationship that he and Brian Allen both have because of how much we put on that center position and them bouncing things off of one another. I mean, you hear me talk a lot about Matthew being an extension of the coaching staff. Both of those guys really are. And I thought Coleman's command, his toughness, his competitiveness, his ability to be able to communicate, his ability to understand what was going on in real time because he has such a big picture understanding for the game. It was excellent, and especially in the noise. That's a great hostile environment. There was a lot of things that you're absent, your ability to communicate verbally. So that visual communication, that ability to communicate with a little bit more urgency, getting in and out of the huddle, I think is a great reflection of Matthew, but also Coleman as well. And I was really pleased with Coleman.
You've been on the headset with a lot of coordinators, also other coaches, including this guy coming up. But what was it like with Mike? Raheem said he does a lot of things that are sort of reading you in certain ways. What was it like?
He was great. It was awesome. There was a constant dialogue. I look at it as, there's somebody that's sending in the plays, and Raheem does that defensively. I do that offensively, but man, it's a true collaboration, and Mike's ability to communicate information in real time, be decisive. I can't say enough about the positive influence that he's made on me, on this building. He's a great coach, man. We are lucky to have him here. And, it's awesome to be able to partner up with him and really the whole coaching staff. I was just really pleased with all those guys, but man, Mike was a huge factor in why things went the way that they did. He's been a huge factor in helping guys continue to develop, and I can't say enough good things and how important and instrumental he's been to me since he got here over the last few months. He was great, Jordan.
Coach, you talked, Commissioner Goodell earlier talked about diversity and increasing the opportunities for more diversity amongst coaches and coordinators, and you specifically, over the course of time, have made sure that you incorporate that into your arsenal as far as coaching is concerned. Why was it so important for you when you became head coach to do that and continue to do that, and do you see that continuing to evolve around the league?
Yeah, I think it's super important. What I can say is a cool thing too, Nick, though, is it just happened to be where it was the best coaches. And a lot of those guys have come from different backgrounds. And I think that's very reflective of, a lot of the different guys that we're fortunate enough to be able to work with as players. And so We've got guys that come from all different types of backgrounds that are phenomenal coaches. They're phenomenal teachers. They do a great job of connecting. And I think it's about identifying those guys, but also understanding the importance of increasing the awareness and the opportunities, to be able to go compete and get opportunities to lead and to teach and to motivate in the right way. And I've been really fortunate to be around a lot of guys that are checking the boxes for those things. And we have a lot of guys that are on our staff right now that I think will certainly be big-time leaders, for other organizations, in the future, without a doubt in my mind.
Defensively, what impressed you the most about some of the younger guys, like a Kobe Turner, who had a couple of big moments?
I think just the overall strain. I think the ability to be able to compete, knowing that the game wasn't too big for them. You could just see they had a really good look in their eye. And I think, again, it's a credit to those coaches. They got them ready. It's a credit to the work that they put in. I've really enjoyed the connection where it is coaches and players are in this thing together. But we had a lot of young guys that really did a great job. Kobe Turner's been a guy that he plays with a relentless effort, a tenacity. He's got some, obviously, physical tools and skill sets, but he's got a big picture understanding of what we're trying to get done. He's got a versatile skill set that can allow him to be a factor on rundowns, on pass downs, and thought that was on display. I was really pleased with Byron Young, another young guy that did a really good job. And both, I thought Steve Avila and Puka Nacua, and then even Alex Ward and Ethan Evans. You're talking about a lot of young rookies that were starting playing in their first game and certainly did a great job of being able to help us get the win the other day.
And how did you and Raheem kind of prepare the run defense to face what they will face in Christian?
Well, it's a great challenge. I mean, he's as good as it gets, and he's got an incredible, versatile skill set. Kyle's as good as it gets in terms of being able to put all their different playmakers in the right spots, and then they've got the personnel to be able to make it come to life. And so, we'll see on Sunday, but it's going to be a great challenge.
Sean, we've seen video of you guys post-game, after games and whatnot. It's been a while since you've been able to celebrate after a regular season game against the 49ers. What's it going to take for you guys to get
a complete team effort? I think, it's going to take everybody playing at their best, and it's a great challenge. And I think the biggest thing is they've been a great team. They've done a great job. I think it's a real credit to Kyle and that organization and their players, their coaches. And so it's been challenging, and, hats off to them. And we're going to do our best to try to be able to, come away with the result that we're hunting up. But that's not going to, the previous games, every single week is a new entity. Every single year is a new year. And so one thing that hasn't changed is they're a great team again. And, we've got a great challenge at SoFi this week. Okay. Thank you, guys.